What's up, YouTube? It's Eric, a Lions fan. Thanks for clicking on this video. Kind of don't want to give my 2 cents on the Andrew Luck retirement kind of thing. It's just going to be a real short video. It's not going to be anything real big. But I guess how it all came down was Andrew Luck, I'm sure you guys know if you're a sports fan, kind of like I am. Saturday night, while the Colts were actually playing, it came over that Adam Scheffler came out and he tweeted that Andrew Luck was going to retire. And a lot of people were probably in the stands kind of scrolling through their phones, because in this day and age, it's what you do when you're, because you got to be informed 24/7. But they kind of scroll through there and they kind of see that, and they're thinking, well, Andrew Luck's kind of right down there on the field, so kind of what the heck's going on? Well, as the story developed, we all know that Andrew Luck's going to retire, and he got booed off the field, which I kind of really don't blame the fans on that. Kind of like a lot of other people, the pundits like Stephen A. Smith, Colin Cowherd. There's a bunch of them over on ESPN. I was kind of watching yesterday because I had the day off of work. But I really don't blame them kind of really for booing him off the field, only because he was down there on the field, and then they kind of read their phones and say he's going to retire. Then they're kind of thinking, well, why is he on the field if he's just going to retire? And they're, confusion sets in. They've already had a couple adult beverages already. So, I mean, number one, I guess kind of how I feel on it is, if you knew you were going to retire coming into that, why didn't you do it way before the season started? And if you said you kind of go through the cycle of your injury and then your rehab and the pain, and then you kind of go through that, that's kind of paraphrasing what he said. But if you're kind of going through that vicious cycle for 4 years, why did you pick the third game of the NFL season to announce your retirement? And while you're down there on the field, why did it break right then? I don't really understand. I guess I don't really understand the circumstances of how that all came out. I don't know if it got leaked out or kind of what happened, but my biggest thing is, why did you wait until week 3 of the season, or whoever leaked it? Why did you wait until then to announce your retirement? And that's kind of the big kind of issue that I have on it. It's kind of grinds my gears a little bit. Even though I'm a Detroit fan, if Matthew Stafford said that kind of during the season or right at the beginning of the season, I'll be pretty pissed, because then one of your franchise players says they're going to be retiring while they're right down there on the field, and you've kind of already gone in 3 preseason, which you've kind of, I don't want to say you've screwed over your team, but in some ways that's kind of what he did. Was he unsatisfied with the team? Was that why he did it? I mean, there's probably 1,000 different scenarios that have probably came out there. I don't know if he wasn't happy with it. Then there's the next tweet that came out that said they were going to pay him his full contract, where they could have recouped all that money, like $24 million or something like that. The Indianapolis Colts could have recouped, but they said they weren't going to do it. The timing to me is a real big thing that kind of grinds my gears. Why didn't Andrew Luck kind of just, kind of say right at the beginning, or even before the draft started, be like, look, guys, I'm thinking about retirement, and you should probably find a quarterback. So, I don't know, guys. It's kind of my little kind of simplistic view of it, I guess, is kind of how I look at it is. But if that happened to the Detroit Lions with Matthew Stafford or Kerryon Johnson, or even somebody else that kind of been in the league a couple of years, and then they ended up being like, I'm kind of going through the cycle for 3 or 4 years, and I'm kind of going through it, and then in the third preseason game, or even in the regular season game, or coming up to the preseason at some point, I just think I'm going to retire. To me, that you're kind of screwing over your fan base, and you're kind of screwing over your team a little bit. So the timing of it, to me, I think you really should have thought this through just a little bit more. And kind of one other person, and I can't remember the name, and they kind of said it on Get Up right there on ESPN, that I think it's Golick, I think is who runs that, is the host of that show. I can't remember. It's one of the mics on there. And one of the guys kind of said, why didn't you just put him on IR for the rest of the season, or kind of reassess him at the halfway point? And then if he still kind of feels that way, then just kind of put him on IR the rest of the year, and then announce his retirement right at the end of the year. That would have been the much better plan to do that, other than to just do it at the third kind of preseason game. And I completely agree with him. Now, all the kind of the pundits on there were kind of, I don't want to say they were kind of roasting the guy, but they were kind of like irritated by his tweet, and I can't remember who tweeted that. I'm sure somebody here will know kind of what I'm talking about if they look through Twitter. But I totally agree with the guy. Why didn't you just kind of put him on injured reserve and kind of reassess him at that point? You don't know if is he just want to get out of that team? If he did, he could have renegotiated his contract and asked for a trade. You know, there's a couple of different scenarios that could have been there if he kind of wanted to get out of there. Because what happens if he kind of goes through maybe 1 or 2 years, heals up and be like, hey, I kind of want to go back and play again? Well, kind of then what happens? I mean, he's then kind of more or less a free agent. I don't know how that works. So, and I don't know all the CBA stuff either. I'm just looking at it as a casual fan kind of thing. You're having obviously the 10,000 foot view because I'm not a Indianapolis Colts fan. I'm a Detroit Lions fan, but I kind of feel like the Colts got hosed a little bit by all this kind of stuff. And I don't blame the fans for booing him and kind of being a little bit upset, but I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below. You know, what are your guys' thoughts kind of like mine? Do you have a different thought? I'd like to know what your guys' kind of feedback is on this topic. I kind of feel like I said, I kind of feel like the Colts got roasted over the coals. Guys, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't, give it a thumbs down. Also, consider hitting that subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell notification so you guys get more videos just like this one. All right, guys, I'm headed to work. It's almost time to go to work. Got to make that money. All right, guys, really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope to see you guys again soon. Take care, guys.